Still looking to, nobody's still beat it yet, so everybody's still using regular menus. But like, the hardest thing about, there's two things. With as an entrepreneur, you have to have courage. You have to realize that you're always gonna go through the struggle. And the biggest issue when it's a bad idea is actually you telling yourself it's a bad idea. We always talk about this word, it's called pivoting and figuring out, okay, well this doesn't work, this is a bad idea, well then maybe I need to go find the next way. But you know, my advice is that when you're going out and you're building your business and you're trying to acquire customers and you're trying to make money, even if the thing is not working, that there's always a move. And there's always the last thing that, you know, well maybe this blew up. Like, I'll give one more example. Like, a company called Slack. This guy named Stuart Butterfield. Raise your hand if you or your company ends up using Slack. Okay, so Slack didn't start off as Slack. Slack started off as a gaming company. Stuart Butterfield loves games, and the game was not working. And he was like, well shit, sorry. I got an entrepreneur Tourette syndrome. Okay, it's not gonna work, but we built this internal chat communication system. So I can either give and Stuart came to us and said, we can either give you the money back as investors, or we can maybe go try this crazy idea because if this is the last thing that we have, and maybe we just build an internal communication system, and that ended up turning out to be Slack. And I think that when you're going through things that aren't bad ideas, there's always a move, and you just have to, you know, just keep the game going at the end of the day.
Yeah, I wanted to adjust the question a little bit and give it to you, Aaron. You know, even the previous panel talked about, you know, finding your target audience and narrowing down on your target audience and defining who they are. And then you often hear entrepreneurs say, you know, I'm building this for everybody. And you're like, no, you're probably not building this for everybody. Yeah. You are actually building for everybody. Can you talk about how Facebook thinks about building for everybody and what's applicable to people in this audience who are building for their small business?
No, definitely. We're building with the idea of scale in mind. I mean, you think about our family of apps today, I think there's almost 4 billion people around the world, more than half the world's population that use Meta and our family of apps on an everyday basis. So when you think about building for everyone, it's not a small few, it's, you know, every community, every demographic, and everyone around the world. You know, multiple kind of languages, you know, multiple different kind of cultural kind of differences, and it's very hard to solve for. What works in the US may not necessarily work in Brazil, right? And not only from a kind of cultural difference, but you know, there's regulation, there's laws, there's differences. It makes it very tough. I think one of the things that Mark said maybe 5 or 6 years is that you know, when he started Facebook, he had no idea that, you know, social media would be used in some countries to start wars or, you know, coups and other things. It's very difficult to kind of predict how you know, our social media platforms would be used, and that means that there's a very big, hefty responsibility and burden on us to make sure that we get it right. And think about how do we kind of protect users and build community that allows everyone to use our social media platforms to build deeper and more meaningful social connections. So, you know, myself, in terms of kind of engineering, when I think about just the infrastructure that we build worldwide, it's really important for my team to build low latency infrastructure that everyone can use at a moment's notice. So when you think about
low latency.
Yeah, latency is just kind of the distance between kind of 2 points. So if you're a gamer, for example, and you're playing, you know, Twitch or something like that, right? From a latency perspective, you want things to move extremely fast. You know, latency, jitter, none of those things are good. If you're a gamer, if I'm watching a video, you don't want it to take 2 or 3 seconds to load, right? So the latency needs to be very fast. People who use our video platforms and our products today expect it to work seamlessly and very quickly. So when I think about kind of building our infrastructure kind of worldwide, it's important for me to make sure that I can build an infrastructure that allows everyone to have equal access and opportunity to our social media apps and kind of platforms so that everyone can kind of take advantage of it. So we think about, you know, the community, you know, globally. Every time we build infrastructure, to deploying products, to every decision that we make is community first.
Vincent, there's people in this audience who are smart and they're noodling around a couple of ideas in their head, like most entrepreneurs are. They have a bunch of ideas. You're also smart and have a lot of ideas, but how do you think about this is what I'm going to work on when you could be working on a lot of different things?
Very good question. So I think I have a business idea every day, or every 10 minutes.
Send me that pitch deck when you're done.
What I do is I get excited about these ideas, but then the next day you wake up, oh, that wasn't good. So
Somebody had that yesterday, yeah.
I developed this process after being an entrepreneur for so long that if I like the idea, I'll write it down, and tomorrow when I wake up, does it still sound good? And then I'll leave it, I'll go back 2 weeks, and I'll check the idea again. If it's still good, all right, I'm interested now. And then I start putting a business plan together. Does this make sense? And then, all right, the business plan looks good, the idea still sounds good. I pitch it to family and friends. They like it, all right, I'm doing a business plan. And over the years, I've been able to use that concept and come up with all the businesses that I've owned.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what I would say